Hey there, I'm Steve, and welcome to Jamsin Entertainment. This is the latest promo I'm making, and it's going to explain everything. The end game of Jamsin Entertainment, what my dream actually is. And this is coming about because I had a conversation with my friends a little while back. It's actually one of the reasons why I cut my hair, because it got me thinking. All right, so what got me thinking to cut my hair was all my friends are couples. I don't know how this happened, but it happened, and comes up often enough where I'm single and I want dating advice. And one of my friends says I need to get a haircut. It actually got me thinking that would probably work not only for dating, but like keeping a brand. I mean, a brand is more than just my logos and stuff like that. It's how I look. I know people can change their look and keep the brand. It just got me thinking I should have a continual look instead of fro in the winter and cut in the spring and summer. But along with the logo and everything, I've changed it. So I need to change this because this is really old. I need to change this. This is slightly old. I don't know if you can see it, but right here it says @Jamsin E85. I've redone it to look like this because this makes more sense. I'm on a Discord and there was some confusion. People are still saying Jasmine, and it looks close to Jasmine when it's Jamsin E85, so I put an underscore there now just to make it as simple and as easy to find Jamsin Entertainment on other social media platforms as possible. This is another reason why I wanted to do this promo, because in that conversation I mentioned I'm working on my dreams this year, and they asked what that was, and my one friend said YouTube, and it's not entirely true. YouTube is simply a means to an end. My dream is to own a retail space and to live above it. I know I mentioned this in the last promo, but I didn't really go into too much detail. So go all the way back 10 years ago, or a little more than that, I had this idea of selling video games in a retail store, much like GameStop. But I was also do like retro gaming and stuff like that. There are stores like this. And at the time, when I was still in college, I was obsessed with video games. And I actually did start up on eBay selling video games and accessories, and I did a decent enough job at it where I was building a reputation. I wasn't making any money off it, but really I only sold for maybe 2 years collectively. But I was building a reputation around it on eBay. I only stopped because I couldn't find a rhythm, or I couldn't find a rhythm of what to buy and sell to make it profitable. I was losing money. I still technically am losing money because I have these stylists that are for the Nintendo dual screen, which I'm not even sure if they make anymore. It's a 5-pack of stylists, different colors, and they're adjustable for different hand sizes. And they've been burning a hole in my pocket for years now. I would like to get back to selling things, but financially speaking, it's not possible for me to do that right now. So I shifted from that to YouTube, but there are some things in the middle. For instance, I'm also a writer. I've been writing the same story for about 10 years. And when I say this to me, and possibly to you as well, 10 years, it sounds like you really haven't done anything in 10 years. And I feel like a failure. I really feel like a failure. But I've also have grown to not beat myself up as much because I have learned quite a bit. It's just a matter of me actually doing. So this year I'm focusing on writing. I'm reviewing movies almost every week now. I'm not going to see every movie, so obviously not every week am I going to have a movie to review. But I'm seeing movies on Thursday because now they have earlier showings. It's not a midnight showing, so I'm not killing myself to watch a movie, getting out like 2 or 3, and then film a review, edit it, and put it up and going to bed by 6 a.m. No, I'm not doing that. There are 6 p.m. shows, 7:30 shows. I'll do those on Thursday. I'm getting the review out as soon as possible. But I also have some ideas for some video essays, longer format reviews, basically. And I still want to cover conventions. I'll put up a list of conventions that I'm going to. Hopefully I'll see you there. I need to build up courage and actually talk to people at conventions, because that's what this part of the hat's for. There's a camera that goes here and it faces forward so I can do interviews. But all of this is leading up to hopefully one day having a retail space and living above it. Recently I've been calling it a retail community because there are lots of businesses out there that sell games. The ones I'm talking about are like tabletop games like D&D and Warhammer, X-Wing, a whole bunch of tabletop games. People go there and they play games, and somehow these businesses make money. I need to do research into that so I just don't start doing it. But it is possible. I know it's possible, and that's what I ultimately want to do. I used to call it shopping arcade. And shopping arcade really is just a term that means shopping mall or shopping strip. You see them everywhere, but I wanted to make it, and still want to make it, a more literal term. It's a shopping arcade. You can buy your geeky things there, but you can also play video games or play a tabletop game. I still want to build that environment. I'm still learning how to do that environment. I'm only using YouTube to get my ideas and opinions on movies out there. Part of my growth process, just in general, not just Jamsin Entertainment, but personally, I've been watching a lot of TED Talks and Joe Rogan, a podcaster who is amazing. And my mind has become more and more open, and I really like the idea of a podcast. I'd like to start one, so I need to do some research into that. And herein lies one of my biggest problems. My biggest problem is I get in my own way. For instance, like trying to interview people at conventions. I just need to do it. The other thing that keeps on holding me back is I get these ideas and I always grow them to be enormous. Jamsin Entertainment just started out as a video game store. That was the idea. No more, no less. Then it was like, well, I like what this comic book store does. It sells comics, but also sells all these tabletop games and accessories. I want something like that. And same with my writing idea. My writing idea, it's called Earth Unified Nation. That's the overall title of the entire series. And then I have subtitles after that for later installments. Earth Unified Nation Mask. And then the next one is Earth Unified Nation Space. I'm just explaining how my ideas just explode. And that went from being like 3 series novels to I found a YouTuber named Mark Crilly who teaches people how to draw specifically in the manga style. And he also teaches chibi, and he has these books. I bought 2 of them. And I really got interested in the chibi style. And with his channel, not only does he teach you how to draw, but he's also made comic books. One of them is called Brody's Ghost, which I recently got the whole collector's series. And it took my idea of this 3 series novels to, why don't I make my series a comic book? And then again, one step further, I was like, why don't I turn it into an anime? So I keep on having these ideas and it just blows up. YouTube started out with movie reviews, but then I was like, okay, well, I can also review movies. I can promote my writing. I did too much in the beginning. I was like making a video every single day and I wasn't getting anywhere with it. This year, I've started to focus down on what I want to work on. I think I've mentioned in the past that I want to learn Blender. It's a 3D software, but it's more than that. I'm actually editing my videos through Blender. It does a really great job of doing that. But there are things I want to get into with Blender, like my logo. My friend Austin helped me make this logo. He came up with the idea, and then my part that I contributed was, say, why don't you have this open? It says Jamsin Entertainment. I want to make that in Blender. I want to make it a short animation for Jamsin Entertainment. And I want to, Blender is such an awesome platform, an awesome software, and it's so versatile. The possibilities are really endless, and I would like to learn as much as possible so that I can make the story I'm writing into an anime. So Jamsin Entertainment is not just YouTube. It's probably the largest proponent right now, but Jamsin Entertainment is also on Facebook. It's also on Instagram. It's writing. It's 3D software. And soon a podcast. I think my first podcast is probably going to be talking about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker with my friend Austin. There's a good discussion waiting to be had in front of the camera. But I need to learn how to produce a podcast before I can just do it. I know it's not just as simple as hooking this camera up to my computer and recording everything. It's a little more involved than that. So one last thing before I wrap things up is you may have noticed so far this year I haven't really used stop motion. In fact, I haven't used stop motion in my reviews. One, there hasn't really been a movie big enough for me to focus on and come up with a game plan before I do the review, like I did with Rise of Skywalker. 2, it's easier to do it with a spoiler video than it is with a review, because I'd have more time between watching it Thursday and Sunday. That's when I plan on having spoiler reviews come out on Sunday. I would have more time to actually come up with a skit with the Legos and film it, put audio to it, and put it part of the spoiler review than I would be to do that with a normal review. So I do plan on still doing stop motion. It would just be with my spoiler reviews, and those are mostly for bigger movies. I thought maybe I was going to do one for Birds of Prey, but there wasn't enough really in Birds of Prey. The movie is so straightforward, there's nothing really to spoil there. That's why I didn't do it. I'm excited for stop motion more than I have been in the past, because I don't want to say hired, but I partnered up with someone I've met on Discord. She lives on the West Coast. Her name is Michaela Wall. I do pay her monthly, but it's only paying for what I basically pay for the same Patreon, which is the Closer Look. I met her through that Discord. She's great. I can't wait to make more skits and have her help me out with the voice acting in the stop motion. For a brief moment, I thought about becoming a professional dungeon master, because I met with someone that's part of a mentoring program called SCORE, and he says, well, if you want to do that, you already have like your own house and your own space to have a community and live above it. And it gave me an aha moment, but I realized I'm just not at the level of becoming a professional dungeon master. So it led me to the idea of having a podcast. So I want to follow through on the podcast idea and just continue to work towards my dream of having a space, a geeky, nerdy, dorky community where people can come and we can hang out, have fun, and I would love to live above it. That is my dream for Jamsin Entertainment. That's my dream for me. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. If you have any advice for me, I am all ears. I am open. If you want to know any more about what else I do outside of YouTube, please inquire below, and I'm looking forward to the rest of this year. If you like what you saw, like it. If you think other people like it, share it. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and live your imagination.